Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner with myself, OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2016. And today we're revisiting Bitcoin's price again because I just saw this article here in Finboat. Brace yourself, Bitcoin could crash to $31,000 soon. Alright, well, is this true? Can this happen? And while it's possible, anything could happen with the price of Bitcoin, but is it likely? Is this actually coming? This is what I'm going to revise in this video. Let's get started. Alright, well, it's Monday, the beginning of a new week, and we're going to look at the price of Bitcoin because, as I said, this is one of many articles and just stuff that people share on social media talking about Bitcoin crashing to 40,000. I reported on that last week, crashing to 30,000. Is this really likely? I'm gonna go in the charts, but first let's discuss the potential timeline for Bitcoin's bull run this cycle. Because Bitcoin has experienced fluctuating prices following its halving event back in April this year, we can speculate about when it might reach its next peak. First, how is the current market looking? At the beginning of this year, Bitcoin gained significant momentum, particularly with the approval of 10 spot ETFs back in January, if you remember, which attracted a new wave of investors. This surge led to a very fast-paced rally and sent Bitcoin to a new all-time high of 73,700 in mid-March. However, since then, Bitcoin's price has seen a steady decline and it's now trading at around 55,000, which is 14% down from its halving price, which was back in April, and it's about 25% down from its all-time high, which we reached back in March. So this fourth halving cut miners' rewards from 12.5 to 6.25 Bitcoin, thus creating less new supply on the market. This typically signals a bullish phase for Bitcoin. And historically, the average time between a halving and the cycle peak is about just under a year and a half. It's roughly 480 days. Even with these approximate figures, we can make a rough estimate based on this historical data, not just a wild guess, that Bitcoin could reach its next peak around the summer of 2025, something that I've been saying since the start of this cycle, and I still maintain this position. Those who claim the bull cycle is over need to show me more data to justify their position. The current price consolidation between 55k and 69k is a channel that we formed for 6 months already, and the time to make a decision for the next move is approaching. And this pattern that we see here, I already said that in my previous analysis, is a bullish one. So typically it breaks on the upside, smashing through resistance with volume, and this is what we're waiting for. I want to see a sustained break above the 70,000 mark, which will indicate the continuation of the bull cycle. It is possible to see a failure to break above this resistance. Yes, it is possible, especially with the overall market sentiment shifted now towards fear. And retail is not bold enough to buy right now. BlackRock is buying in bulk, but other ETFs are seeing outflows lately. Most investors, not traders, but the more passive investors are scared to buy into an asset while it's on a downtrend. And for the past 6 months, we have been on a downtrend. This is exactly what we're doing. But all it takes is one big move and the sentiment will shift rapidly, causing a rush that can easily send the price into the top of the channel again, and then it will be a matter of time before the resistance is broken. This is what I'm expecting here. What I'm saying is that Bitcoin is still in the midst of its bull cycle and has yet to experience a significant influx of retail investors, often called the retail bubble. This phase is characterized by a surge in retail participation, which typically drives prices higher. This is what I'm waiting to see, and I have no doubt that it's coming. Not just yet though. This is towards the end of this year, early next year. Right now, the demand for Bitcoin appears to be very low, as indicated by the declining trading volume on platforms like Coinbase, which has returned to pre-ETF levels. For the bull cycle to resume, demand needs to recover, and I anticipate this rebound could happen towards November. Why I'm saying that? Well, September is typically a bad month for Bitcoin. We already know that. We talked about this in my previous analysis. We've compared months and everything. October and November are actually very good months. On top of it, we are in a bull cycle. We are in a halving year. And if we look at the data, halving years typically have very strong October, November and December. and this is what is ahead of us. This is why I'm so confident that Bitcoin is not really going to 30K, as this article is trying to suggest here. I mean, of course, they're not saying it's definitely going to 30K, even though the headline is brace yourself. Brace yourself, you say when something is inevitable, when something is coming, when something is literally in front of you. So this is why I'm quoting this article so many times, and this is why I'm making this video to rebuttal this claim. Now, also, let's take a look at the rainbow chart. We looked at this last time, but yet again, first of all, you can see here the halvings being marked. You can see how close we are from this halving. I mean, the bull cycle, this is why many people on Twitter claim that the bull cycle hasn't even started yet. Basically, we are still in the preparation, we are still in the accumulation phase, and the bull cycle is starting from now. This is one of the theories. I personally feel that we already started the bull cycle towards the end of last year, and we had the first leg up, we had our first major correction, and now we are going to recover and resume the bull cycle. Other people are of the opinion that the bull cycle is not started and it's about to begin. Either way, what's coming is a bull cycle. Both theories are actually pointing towards a bull cycle coming, a bull run coming. And right now, as you can see in the rainbow chart, we are actually here reaching a bottom. This is a local bottom, perfect accumulation phase. So this is really coming to an end. We are not going to stay in this blue zone for too long. Mark my words. In a bull cycle, Bitcoin tends to revisit support levels and tends to fall into these zones here. And let me zoom in a little bit more. So this is the previous halving. You can clearly see here that we were in that blue zone for quite a few months, all the way until October. We stayed in that blue zone, and the halving last time was in April. So we had April, May, June, July, August, September, October, into November. This in November really is when we started pumping. So we had 8 months of being in that blue zone. What's happening right now is that we've been in that blue zone since the halving for about 6 months, not even 5 months. So I feel that it's a little too rushed to start talking about a trend reversal, falling into a bear cycle and all of that. This is a correction, guys, nothing more than that. So I really don't support any theory that Bitcoin is going to 30K anytime soon. Perhaps in a future bear cycle, we can talk about revisiting that level, even though I doubt. I think that the 50K will be acting as a decent support, but we can talk about this level later on in a bear cycle. We are by no means in a bear cycle. We have not made a trend reversal here. As you can see, this is the weekly chart. What are the levels that I'm anticipating? First of all, if we are to continue this drop, this correction, even though I feel that we are kind of already on the recovery pace, if we are to continue, we are currently at a support level. This level is holding quite well. As you can see, a few times we challenge it and it's holding quite well. But we are literally at this level. This is the 0.382 Fibonacci level. If we are to break this support, and a lot of the times during corrections, we tend to actually go to the 0.50, sometimes even the 0.61, which is the golden Fibonacci ratio. So the 0.50, which will be if we break the current 55,000 support, is to go to 49K. 49K is the 0.50 Fibonacci level. This is our strongest support. We've already tested it once and very quickly we bounced from there. As you can see, we only printed a wick here. So this was a very brief test of that support level and it was holding perfectly. I feel that if we are to come to this support and retest it again, it will hold again. And this is at 49,000, quite far from the 30K that is painted in the article. Then we have another support. Even if this support doesn't hold us, we go to the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio, the golden ratio. This is currently sitting at 43K. So yet again, this is even stronger support. At this point, if we come to this price level, so many people are going to step in. There will be a lot of buyers. There will be a lot of appetite for Bitcoin at this level, I'm telling you. There is no way that we are going to easily break this support level to be talking about 30K. So I feel that this article, all the talk about anything below 50,000, 49,000 is actually pure speculation. It's too soon to be talking about these levels because we don't have any indication here of this support giving up just yet to start talking about 40,000. So 49,000 is on the table, but it is not the most likely scenario. I personally feel that this support here will hold us, and that even if we break it very briefly, it will come back very quickly. We will come around this level. It is proving to be a very decent support, which means one thing, that we can look now into what's going on the way up. Because on the way up we do have a resistance here at 61,000, but before that, this is the weekly chart, before that we have to break through the 34 EMA and 21 EMA. Currently we are below these levels. This is not unusual. During corrections we actually come below these levels. You can see it here. This was another correction that we had on the weekly. These are the two levels, the two moving averages that we are monitoring closely, because they're actually showing us where the sentiment is going. Breaking below this is not good news, but what I'm showing you is that not only we come to retest support of these levels, sometimes we can even break below these levels for a few weeks and we can still continue the bull run. So a breaking below these two levels, below these two moving averages, is not an indication of a bear cycle or a trend reversal. That's why right now being below this, and here this is basically back in August 23. We did have that correction after a rally on the upside. We printed a double top. We did have that correction, but we never managed to break below the base of this double top formation. So we did not turn the trend and we continued the trend. So that this was not a trend reversal, even though we went below these two moving averages. And here we are doing the same thing. We just dropped below these two moving averages. We dropped first below the 21 moving average. Now we dropped below the 34. This is the second week now that we are going to be trading below this moving average. As you saw in the previous example, we traded for at least 4 or 5, 6 weeks below these moving averages, and we still continued the bull cycle, the bull run. So the fact that we are below these moving averages is not really an indication of a trend reversal. However, they are acting now as a resistance. So we will have a resistance at 57k, we have a second resistance at 60,000, and of course the next resistance is the Fibonacci level, which is at 62k. These are the three resistances that we have to break to really get to the top of this channel here, and then we can think of breaking the resistance of 67,400 is showing up currently, this major resistance. And another thing I want to point out, which is actually quite good news for us, this is stochastic RSI on the weekly falling into the oversold region. I've been waiting for that. Now that we are in the oversold region, we can really look into a proper recovery on the upside. The simple RSI is still in the middle here, but it is on the low end. It's at 44. Ideally, we want to see it coming to around 35, 36, and that will indicate that we are ready to really start going up, because typically the RSI likes to come to these levels, likes to get into the oversold region as well, and then it's a strong bull run. But we don't even need that. We can be where we are right now, as you can see here in August. Again, the previous market correction that I showed you. In August last year, we were at these levels. We never really dropped any lower, and we started a very strong rally on the upside. So we can just bounce from here, and what I'm seeing is that we are already starting to curve on the upside in the RSI. So we don't really need to wait or anticipate the RSI to come any lower. This is good enough already. This curve here in the RSI is already showing the potential that we are starting the recovery. So this is the good news that I wanted to bring you in this video. To me, we are already starting a recovery. It's going to be slow in the first days. I'm not expecting a massive big candle to take us all the way to the top of this channel. However, it is possible that over the next few days and over the next couple of weeks, we see a slow recovery on the upside, still a consolidation around this resistance here with the 34 and the 21 EMAs. So this could be actually how we end September, and then going into October, I'm expecting that we will climb above this resistance level and we are going to start challenging this resistance trend line, which is currently at around 67, 68,000. But this I anticipate to happen towards October rather than September, because first we're going to have to see at least the early steps of a recovery. That will give more confidence to the buyers to actually step in. We're going to see a lot more longs starting to open, and with that, as we enter October and everyone is going to start talking positively again, we're going to be out of this ugly September, which historically has been a very bad month for Bitcoin. October is going to give much more motivation for buyers, and we're going to see a confidence boost. The market sentiment is going to shift. We are currently still in fear. I'm expecting that we're going to start getting into greed territory very soon towards October. And with that, we're going to start challenging. We're going to have far more confidence. Market sentiment is going to be far more positive, and we're going to be able to challenge this resistance here, this trend line that has been going ever since the all-time high back in March. So this is everything for today's video, guys. I don't want to make this video any longer. I just wanted to give you my outlook on what's happening with Bitcoin and why I'm not worried about the future in the short term and in the long term of Bitcoin. For the moment, everything still looks quite fine. We have not done a trend reversal. There is no need to worry. This is everything from me. Thanks for staying until the end of the video. Make sure to check out the links in the description below, where I drop the links to all of the crypto services that I'm using and that I recommend to you. And while you're here, just pick another one of my videos, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.